and welcome to another Horus Heresy guest battle report brought to you by the Legion Wargaming. And today, Sam returns to the channel. You may have seen his Emperor's Children take on our Iron Warriors during his last visit, but today we have the clash of two very different legions. As the Shadow Crusade unleashes destruction across the legendary 500 worlds of the realm of Ultramar, the Primarch Angron returns to the world upon which he was raised amidst the carnage of the gladiatorial arenas. Upon Nuceria, he vents his wrath upon the hapless population, most of whom remember his name only as a distant legend. But his brother, the Lord of Ultramar and Primarch of the 13th Legion, has survived the betrayal at Calth and musters his forces to strike back, personally leading his Ultramarines against the legions of his wayward brothers. In his thirst for vengeance, Guilliman is determined to see justice done upon the betrayers, but can the Avenging Son lay low the Lord of the Red Sands? The battle today is 3,500 points. It is Ultramarines versus World Eaters. The mission is Dominion with ambush deployment. Let's take a look at the armies. This 3,500 point World Eaters army consists of a single Battles in the Age of Darkness Crusade Force organisation chart, and today the World Eaters are using their unique right of war, Berserker Assault. For today they are led by the Primarch himself, the Lord of the Red Sands. It is Angron, the Lord of the 12th Legion. For HQs, these World Eaters have brought along two choices. The first is a Praetor. He has a Power Fist, an Iron Halo and digital weapons, and they've also got a Centurion who has been upgraded to a Herald. He's got the Banner of the Eye. He's also wearing Artificer armour and is equipped with a Power Fist. And since Angron himself is present, a few of his bodyguard have also managed to keep up with him. We have a Terminator command squad. Two of these Terminators have Twin Lightning Claws, two have Power Fists, one has a Chain Fist, two of them have Combi Plasmas and one has a Reaper autocannon, and they are mounted in a Land Raider Phobos with Armoured Ceramite. This detachment contains three elite choices. The first is an Apothecarian detachment comprising two Apothecaries. We have got a Contemptor Dreadnought Talon consisting of two Contemptor Dreadnoughts. The first has two Power Fists. Each of them has built-in plasma blasters, and we have another Contemptor with a multi-melter and a Power Fist with an inbuilt melter gun. The third elite's choice is a Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought with twin Kerry's assault cannons. For troops, the World Eaters have brought along plenty of tactical marines. The first choice is a 17-strong tactical squad. They all have bolt pistols and chain axes. They are led by a sergeant with Artificer armour, a Power Fist and melter bombs. And we have another Legion tactical squad. Again 17 strong, again all equipped with bolt pistols and chain axes, and led by a sergeant with Artificer armour, a Power Fist and melter bombs. And for their third compulsory troops choice, the World Eaters have bought a Legion assault squad, 10 strong, all with bolt pistols and chain axes. They are led by a sergeant with Artificer armour, a Power Fist and melter bombs. And the World Eaters have one more troops choice. It is a Legion tactical support squad. They have four melter guns. They are mounted in a Rhino. We have a single fast attack choice in the form of a squad of Rampagers. There are 6 of them. Their champion has a Power Fist and all of the other Rampagers have their Kydray weapons. They are mounted in a Land Raider Phobos with Armoured Ceramite. And then we have two heavy support choices. The first is a Deimos Pattern Predator with las cannon sponsons and a turret mounted Executioner plasma cannon. And the final choice is a Legion heavy support squad with 5 auto cannon. These are the World Eaters. They are revving their chain axes in anticipation. Let's take a look at what the Ultramarines are bringing along. This 3,500 point Ultramarines army consists of a single Battles in the Age of Darkness Crusade Force organisation chart, and on the hunt for his betraying brothers we have Guilliman himself. He is leading his Ultramarines into battle today. We've got 3 HQ choices. The first is a Chaplain. He has a boarding shield, a thunder hammer and artificer armour. We've also got a Master of Signal with a refractor field and a power sword, and we have a Primus Medici in Cataphracti Terminator armour. He's got a thunder hammer. As This army is led by Guilliman. We have some extremely elite units in the troop slots, starting with some Invictus Suzerains. They all have their boarding shields and artificer armour, of course. 3 of them have thunder hammers. They have been joined by an apothecary. We've also got in another troop slot 10 Cataphracti Terminators. 8 of them have power fists and 2 have chain fists. They are mounted in a Spartan as a dedicated transport. It has armoured ceramite, a flare shield and a dozer blade. We've also got 2 Ultramarines Legion tactical squads. This one is 10 strong, led by a sergeant with artificer armour, a power axe and melter bombs, and we have another identical tactical squad. Again, the sergeant has artificer armour, a power axe and melter bombs. We have a tactical support squad. There are 9 of them. They all have plasma guns. They are accompanied by an apothecary and they're mounted in a rhino. And finally we have 3 heavy support joices. We have a Legion heavy support squad with 7 las cannon. Their sergeant has artificer armour and melter bombs. We have a Deredeo dreadnought with its anvilus autocannons and an atomantic pavise. And finally we have a Charybdis assault claw. These are the Ultramarines. They are out for vengeance. Who will triumph? The Avenging Son or the Lord of the Red Sands? We shall see as we move into deployment. And the armies have deployed. The ferocious counterattack of the World Eaters has already forced the first Ultramarines to make planetfall back into a defensive pocket. And the World Eaters are closing in on this side of the battlefield. We have a heavy support squad taking up good firing positions in this ruined tower. The Terminator command squad are rolling forward in their Land Raider down this street. We have a Contemptor Mortis striding forwards next to a Deimos Pattern Predator, and over on the right flank we have a tactical support squad with melter guns moving forward in their rhinos. But from the other direction there are bestial howls of rage as Angron himself is leading a mass of World Eaters charging through these ruins. Angron and the Herald have joined one of the tactical squads, and there is another tactical squad moving up with them as well. Meanwhile, the Assault Marines are preparing to leap down this street, and the Praetor and the Rampagers are rumbling up this street in their Land Raider. Meanwhile, 2 Contemptors are smashing their way through this ruined building. Meanwhile, the Ultramarines are forming up their defensive position. We have a tactical squad fanned out across this street. They have the support of a Deredeo dreadnought. Meanwhile, in the top of this ruined building, the heavy weapon squad have taken up good firing positions. They have been joined by the Master of Signal. They have also been given tank hunters thanks to their Primarch. The Spartan, containing the Terminators, is in cover in this central building, as is the Rhino, containing the tactical support squad with plasma guns. The other tactical squad are fanning out across this street, but the Ultramarines are desperately awaiting the arrival of their Primarch. He is going to arrive in his Charybdis assault claw along with his suzerain bodyguard. This is looking to be a cataclysmic clash of these legions. The World Eaters deployed first. The Ultramarines have failed to seize the initiative with a roll of a 3. We go straight into World Eaters turn 1. End of World Eaters movement phase turn 1, and the World Eaters over this side of this ruined cityscape are seemingly being quite cautious. The Terminator command squad have moved up 6 inches in their Land Raider. It is preparing to give fire, but all of the other World Eaters up this end of the battlefield have held position, including the Heavy Weapons Marines and the Dreadnought and the Deimos Pattern Predator, and even the World Eaters with melter guns in their Rhino. It is from the other direction where the attack is coming, and the World Eaters are wasting no time. The Praetor and his Rampagers have motored up the street in their Land Raider. They have come spilling out. They cannot wait to get to grips with these Ultramarines. Looks like this tactical squad may face a charge in turn 1. The 2 Contemptors are moving up in support. Meanwhile, Angron is leading his mass of World Eaters as quickly as possible through these ruins. Both of these squads managed to roll a 5 for their move through cover. And over on the left flank, the World Eaters Assault Marines have leapt forward up the street as well. Looks like they, like the Praetor and the Rampagers, want to put in a turn 1 charge against these Ultramarines. This could be an extremely bloody first turn, particularly in the assault phase, but first we have World Eater shooting phase, turn 1. End of World Eater shooting phase, turn 1, and the traitors have struck. The Ultramarines with las cannon and the Master of Signal that were on the top floors of this ruined building are no more. They took a hail of fire from the Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought with its Twin Kerry's assault cannons and the Deimos Pattern Predator, as well as the World Eaters with auto cannon. That is a good blow struck in the favour of the traitors, as that was a lot of las cannon fire that would have come straight into the face of their attack. But it has not gone all the World Eaters' way, as this Deredeo Dreadnought survived unharmed as it was targeted by this Land Raider, and from the other side this Land Raider. It was also targeted by this Contemptor with his multi-melter, but he managed to miss. Meanwhile, Angron and his Herald, waving the banner of the Eye, have urged their World Eaters forward with frightening speed through these ruins. Both of these tactical squads have run forward 7 inches, and they are closing in on the beleaguered Ultramarines. The World Eaters are happy so far. They've had an effective first turn. They want to finish it off with a good assault phase, as the Praetor and his Rampagers attempt to charge, and these Assault Marines also attempt to charge in World Eaters assault phase, turn 1. End of World Eaters assault phase, turn 1, and the World Eaters have struck. The Praetor and the Rampagers ploughed in to the Ultramarines tactical squad that were fanned out across this street, and they have torn them to pieces, although the valiant Ultramarines managed to take down one Rampager, and their sergeant managed to cut down another 2 with his power axe. But nevertheless, the Ultramarines have all gone down, and the Praetor and his remaining Rampagers have consolidated into this central ruined building. And it's the same story over the other side. Along this street, the World Eaters Assault Marines came charging in to the Ultramarines tactical squad, and once again all of the Sons of Guilliman have been butchered, although once again their sergeant did well, cutting down the World Eaters sergeant and another Assault Marine. These World Eaters Assault Marines have consolidated into this building towards this objective. And that brings World Eaters turn 1 to a close. They have inflicted a lot of damage on the Ultramarines, but the Ultramarines are looking expectantly to the skies. Their Primarch's arrival should be imminent as we go into Ultramarines turn 1. End of Ultramarines movement phase, turn 1, and a bank of flame envelops this part of this ruined city sector as the Charybdis descends from the heavens. Guilliman and the suzerains are still embarked on board, but the heat discharge did manage to incinerate a single World Eaters tactical marine from this tactical squad. Meanwhile, the Ultramarines Cataphracti and their Primus Medicae have appeared. They have marched down the ramp of the Spartan. Looks like they have their eyes set on these World Eaters Assault Marines. Meanwhile, the Ultramarines Tactical Support Squad with their plasma guns have also deployed from their Rhino. They are looking to annihilate the remaining Rampagers and the World Eaters Praetor in a hail of plasma fire, and this Deredeo has pivoted on the spot to bring its weaponry to bear against the World Eaters firing line occupying this part of the city. The Ultramarines could do a lot of damage this turn. Let's see how they get on in their first shooting phase. End of Ultramarine shooting phase, turn 1, and these Tactical Support Marines were very much looking forward to annihilating the World Eaters Praetor and the Rampagers with a hail of plasma fire, but they were very, very unlucky. They have lost one member of their squad to an overheating plasma gun, and the Praetor is still standing. In fact, these Ultramarines only managed to take out 2 of the Rampagers, and the last one was cut down by a missile from the Charybdis. The Charybdis also targeted these Assault Marines but had no effect, but it has managed to inflict a single glancing hit on this World Eaters Contemptor Dreadnought. Meanwhile, the Deredeo managed to inflict a single glancing hit on the World Eaters Contemptor Mortis, but it was shaping up to be an extremely disappointing shooting phase until the Spartan opened fire, and with 4 hits from its quad las cannon managed to wreck the World Eaters Predator with the Plasma Executioner. That is a good result to end the phase. And we have at least one charge to complete as we go into Ultramarines Assault Phase. Turn 1. End of Ultramarines Assault Phase Turn 1, and the Ultramarines Cataphracti Terminators ploughed in to the World Eaters Assault Marines. They came smashing into this building and they have slaughtered all of the World Eaters. But the World Eaters, with their customary ferocity, managed to drag down 2 of the Cataphracti before they were wiped out. So, although they have lost a unit, that is not too bad a result for the World Eaters, and it brings the Ultramarines' first turn to a close. The World Eaters are looking forward to launching an even more ferocious assault, we think, as we go into World Eaters Turn 2. End of World Eaters Movement Phase Turn 2, and they continue to press home their attack. The Terminator Command Squad have come rumbling forward in their Land Raider into these ruins. They have their sights set on these Ultramarines with plasma guns. Meanwhile, this Contemptor Mortis has come striding up as well, and this tactical support squad have moved up in their Rhino. They have disembarked to claim this objective, and over this corner of the battlefield, the World Eaters with autocannon have still held position to give fire. Meanwhile, this Land Raider has not moved. It has hit las cannon trained on the rear armour of this Deredeo, and this Contemptor is moving forward to try and take it on with its multi-melter as well. The Praetor has bellowed behind him, and one of the World Eaters tactical squads have come running up, but Angron and the Herald have bailed out of this squad. They have moved to join these World Eaters who have sighted the Ultramarines Terminators. They are spilling headlong across the street to attempt to charge them. Angron really wants to whet his axes, and this Contemptor Dreadnought is striding up in support as well. The World Eaters are continuing to exert a huge amount of pressure on the dwindling Ultramarine forces. Let's see what they can achieve in their second shooting phase. End of World Eaters Shooting Phase Turn 2, and the Deredeo Dreadnought is no more. Although it was undamaged by the fire of this World Eaters Contemptor, it was the twin-link las cannon from this Land Raider that managed to detonate its reactor and take it out. This Land Raider attempted to damage the Spartan with its twin-link las cannon, but without success, and a hail of fire from the Contemptor Mortis also pinged harmlessly from the mighty vehicle's frontal armour. These World Eaters melter guns have run into cover. They are holding an objective, but these heavy support marines were very effective, managing to take out 2 of the Ultramarines Terminators with a highly accurate volley of long-range fire. But this World Eaters Contemptor was not so lucky. It raised its fists to unleash its plasma blasters against the Ultramarines Charybdis, but to its pilot's dismay, both of its plasma blasters overheated and they have wrecked the mighty vehicle. The World Eaters do not pay enough attention to weapon maintenance, it seems. But other than that, the World Eaters are still relatively happy with the situation. They are preparing quite a few charges as we go into World Eaters Assault Phase Turn 2. End of World Eaters Assault Phase Turn 2, and the phase started disappointingly as their command squad in their Cataphracti plate failed to complete their charge into the Ultramarines with plasma guns. That is very disappointing, as the World Eaters really wanted to destroy this unit with all of that very dangerous firepower. But the other 2 charges went off without a hitch, as the Praetor led these tactical marines in a charge into the Rhino, easily wrecking it with their chain axes, and Angron himself led the charge across this street into the Ultramarines Cataphracti. But Angron is not happy. He bellowed a challenge at the Ultramarines Chaplain and the Primus Medici, who both decided to retreat to the rear of the combat. They would not accept, but the Ultramarines Terminator Sergeant stepped forward. He was easily butchered for his trouble, along with another 2 Terminators by the Lord of the Red Sands. Meanwhile, the World Eaters pulled down several more Terminators. There is only 1 Terminator left, along with the cowardly Apothecary and Chaplain. But of course, they are fearless. They only managed to take out a single World Eater, losing the combat by a substantial margin, but they are still in the fight thanks to the presence of the Chaplain. But that was far from ideal for the World Eaters, and of course we are expecting the Avenging Son, Guilliman, to make an appearance from his Charybdis as we go into Ultramarines Turn 2. End of Ultramarines movement phase turn 2, and as the Charybdis Assault Claw hovers over, its hatches blow, and the Avenging Son is leading his suzerains out. He has spied his manic brother Angron, and he is about to charge in. Meanwhile, the Primus Medici, the Chaplain and the last Terminator, of course, remain locked in assault. These Ultramarines with plasma guns, they have had a lucky escape, and they intend to capitalise on it by unleashing a wall of plasma against the World Eater's command squad. The Spartan has also spun round. Its las cannon are searching for targets, but that is about it for the Ultramarines. Still, with the arrival of Guilliman, we are expecting carnage this turn. Let's see what the Ultramarines can do in their second shooting phase. End of Ultramarine shooting phase turn 2, and the World Eater's command squad paid for their failure to complete their charge, as 4 of them were cut down in a hail of plasma fire by these Ultramarines, and the last survivor of the squad was finished off by a cluster of missiles from the Charybdis. But the Spartan was disappointed, managing 3 hits on this Contemptor Mortis, but all of them pinged harmlessly from the Dreadnought's armour, and that was about it for the Ultramarine shooting. But now we come to the main event. Guilliman is closing in on his brother as we go into Ultramarines Assault Phase Turn 2. End of Ultramarines Assault Phase Turn 2, and Angron was once again enraged that the Primus Medici and the Chaplain refused his challenge. They once again slunk away to the rear of the combat, but just as Angron was about to launch into a tirade of abuse, his brother came striding through the melee. They are in a challenge. Angron swiped Guilliman once with Gorechild, inflicting a single wound. Guilliman then, filled with rage, pummeled Angron 5 times with his mighty fist. But to his horror, Angron made 4 invulnerable saves and then a feel no pain. Guilliman has not managed to inflict any damage on the Primarch of the 12th Legion. But it's a different story as the suzerains piled in to Angron's World Eaters, cutting down 14 of them. They have only lost 4 of their number in return, and these World Eaters and their Primarch are now looking greatly outnumbered, and it is by suzerains and Terminators. But Angron, he is still raging, he's still going strong. The combat is ongoing, and that brings Ultramarines Turn 2 to a close. They have struck back. Suddenly the World Eaters look like they have a shortage of units, but let's see what they can do as we go into World Eaters Turn 3. End of World Eaters movement phase turn 3, and seeing their sire surrounded by Ultramarines, the Praetor, and these World Eaters Tactical Marines have set off. They intend to hurl themselves into this massed combat. This really is going to be carnage. This Contemptor is moving up in support. The 2 Land Raiders, one here and one here, have held position. They're going to give fire against these Ultramarines with plasma guns, and they're also going to be targeted by the Contemptor Mortis and these World Eaters with autocannon. Meanwhile, the tactical support squad have moved forward through these ruins. They're still holding the objective, and 2 of them have managed to bring their melter guns into range of these Ultramarines as well. This battle has suddenly got very, very close. We have no idea who is going to emerge victorious. Let's see what the World Eaters can do in their third shooting phase. And the World Eaters shooting phase turn 3, and all of their fire poured into a single target as these Ultramarines with plasma guns were targeted by both Land Raiders and the Contemptor Mortis and the Heavy Weapon Marines, and a couple of melter gun shots as well. A lot of Ultramarines have gone down. There is only 1 Marine with a plasma gun and the Apothecary left standing, but they are not falling back. Meanwhile, we approach the main event as these World Eaters try to barge their way into the combat between 2 Primarchs, and this Contemptor is going to have a go at charging the Charybdis as well in World Eaters Assault Phase Turn 3. End of World Eaters Assault Phase Turn 3, and this Contemptor failed its long charge into the Charybdis Assault Claw despite having fleet, but the big news of the turn was the Praetor and the tactical squad of World Eaters covering the distance and charging into the Invictus suzerains. But Angron has finally sated his thirst for violence on the Chaplain and the Primus Medici. They finally, inspired by the example of their Primarch, accepted his challenge. But that proved to be foolhardy. They both went down in short order to blows from his oversized chain axes. Guilliman struck back, managing to wound Angron once with his power fist, but the big news was all of the World Eaters piling in to the suzerains. 3 of them fell to the legatine axes, but then the sheer number of World Eaters have butchered the elite Ultramarines, and the last Terminator also went down, hewed by chain axes as well. There is only one suzerain left. He also accepted Angron's challenge, but luckily he survived. It is just one suzerain, and Guilliman now locked in combat with an awful lot of World Eaters, including a Herald and a Praetor, and of course Angron himself. Things seem to be going against the Avenging Son. That brings World Eaters Turn 3 to a close. It looks like they may have wrested the advantage back in this battle. Let's see how the Ultramarines respond going into Ultramarines Turn 3. End of Ultramarines movement phase turn 3, and it looks like the last 2 surviving Ultramarines that were in this ruin building in the centre, one tactical support marine with a plasma gun and an apothecary, are moving to join this assault. What can they do? We shall see. Meanwhile, the Spartan has spun round. Looks like he wants to give fire against these World Eaters with melter guns, and the Charybdis has taken flight and is moving over into this corner of the battlefield. This is still very, very close. Both Primarchs have been wounded. Guilliman has 2 wounds remaining. Angron still has 4. There are a lot of World Eaters, but you can never count on taking down a Primarch. Let's see what the Ultramarines do in their 3rd shooting phase. End of Ultramarine shooting phase turn 3, and the Warrior Kings of Ultramar are obviously shaken by the ferocity of the World Eaters, as that was a disastrous phase. The Spartan used power of the machine spirit to put one of its quad-las cannons into this Contemptor, but did no damage, and its other quad-las cannon and its twin-linked heavy bolters did nothing to these World Eaters with melter guns either. And then the Charybdis opened fire on the rear armour of this Contemptor, but despite getting 3 penetrating hits, the Contemptor made all 3 of its atomantic shielding saves. That is very disappointing for the Ultramarines, but they still have some hope that Guilliman will fight his way out of this huge combat. We have 2 Ultramarines trying to charge in to help him in Ultramarines Assault Phase Turn 3. End of Ultramarines Assault Phase Turn 3, and the Apothecary and the lone surviving member of the Tactical Support Squad made their charge into the World Eaters, but that brought them only a swift death under a flurry of chain axes. But the big news is Guilliman, the Lord of Ultramar, the Avenging Son, has gone down under the axes of his brother. He has wounded Angron twice more, but with 8 attacks, Angron managed to take Guilliman's last couple of wounds after the Sergeant and the Praetor dealt with the last suzerain. The World Eaters have consolidated. Angron is roaring with glee. He has always wanted to lay Guilliman low in the dust. And with the Ultramarines forces consisting only of the Spartan over here and the Charybdis Assault Claw on its own in the far corner of the battlefield, we are calling this game here. This has been absolute carnage, but that's exactly how the World Eaters like it. The Ultramarines managed to get 2 victory points for holding objectives at various points during this game, but that is all they have. They end with 2 victory points. The World Eaters, they've managed to get 4 points from holding objectives. They also got 3 points for taking out Guilliman. They have got 1 point for attrition, and they got another 2 for the price of failure, again for taking out the Primarch of the 13th Legion. The final score is 10 points to the World Eaters, 2 to the Ultramarines, and the sheer ferocity of the 12th Legion has carried the day, although we do think that the ambush style of deployment for this mission really did give the World Eaters quite an advantage. To start off with, they covered the ground very quickly through the broken terrain, taking very few casualties, and that allowed them to throw themselves into assault with some big squads with rage and hatred and chain axes and incarnate violence. That makes them very, very dangerous. And of course, they had the Lord of the Red Sands. He loves a bit of blood. Thanks very much for watching. We hope you have enjoyed this Horus Heresy game. This has been great fun. We thank Sam for coming up again, bringing his fantastic Ultramarines, and we hope he will grace us with his presence again. We love a bit of Horus Heresy here. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and we will keep producing as many Warhammer 40,000 battle reports as we can. See ya.